Hi, and welcome to the Hidden Pages podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa, and in this episode of the Hidden Pages, we're going to be touching on something a little different, but still for self growth. But I wanted to start with a trigger warning for anyone who does not want to touch the subject. We're going to be talking about the Israel, Gaza, and Palestine conflict, and this subject is not about trying to change your mind about anything, but it's more for the goal of like making sure that we humanize individuals and we don't generalize populations or people or conflicts that are really complex and that we might not understand, but also to take a look at our own personal biases, because as an immigrant I've also been affected by this. But sometimes it's the best thing we can do is like look at our shared humanity, especially in a world that is so divided right now. I think that's going to bridge the best possible outcome for everyone. I want to stand obviously in solidarity with anyone who's looking for their personal freedom and safety, because I do believe that we all have the right to that. But we are all humans, and that does connect us. And I know that this might be something that some people might not agree with or anything. I just wanted to put this out there from my own perspective. So why am I talking about Gaza and Palestine? Well, for one, I'm technically an adopted Palestinian. I married my husband who's half Palestinian. My father-in-law is Palestinian, and my daughter obviously is Palestinian blood too. So it hits home. It's people that I have really close to me. I have friends that are really close to me too that are Palestinian, and I've heard perspectives from Palestinians from different areas and who have been raised here. It's one of those things that they have shared in a lot of the joys of my life, like my wedding and everything, right? And I couldn't not share and honor their mourning and their pain, but also because I've always been someone who believed we're all human, right? And that should unite us in some way. And I feel all of us as humans have the same rights. And one of those rights is freedom, and the other one is safety. And I feel like we all should strive for everyone to have that. And I know we're not in a utopia where everything is possible, right? But I did want to speak out on it because I do believe in these things. So one of the biggest things that affects issues like this one is generalization, right? And why is generalization bad, or like why does generalization affect people? Well, I'm going to tell you a personal story from my own experience with generalization that was impactful as a child, and it's minimal compared to what the topic we're touching on, but it's very important to see how little it might seem to other people and how big it might be in somebody else's world, right? So when I first came into the country, moved to Louisiana, and at the time there was not that many Hispanics in the area we were in. And so technically anyone who spoke Spanish fell under the umbrella of Mexican. So you were considered Mexican if you spoke Spanish. Well, I'm from Honduras. And it's really hard because you kind of lose your identity in the process of people generalizing you. They just all put you in this like, oh, you're all Mexican, right? And like, most of us, especially, any immigrant could relate, are very proud of where we're from, and we're really proud of where we came from, our country, and they all have different things. And so when we were being generalized like that, sometimes you feel like you kind of have people erase your identity a little bit. I even had the issue where like someone was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm from Honduras." And they're like, "Oh, Honduras, what part of Mexico is that in?" And it sounds funny now looking back. I'm like, "Wow, that was ignorant." But at the time, it was almost like, "Wow, we don't even exist in the radar of some people," right? And so it's really hurtful sometimes. I would say like almost like you're disregarded as a human because you're not that important, or at least important enough to know where you're from, right? So let's debunk some of those myths and stereotypes or generalizations of this conflict. Some people believe this is like a religious conflict. I mean, for the most part, most conflicts are actually political, but in general, people think, oh, well, this is, been going on for years. It's a religious war or whatever. But did you know that all of the people in Palestine aren't all Muslim? And there's actually Christian communities in Palestine. Most people assume that everyone in the Middle East is Muslim, and that's a big generalization, and that's not true. And another generalization, because this is a conflict between Israel and Palestine, is that all Jewish people hate Palestinians and all Palestinians hate Jews, which is not true. You know, especially in this country that is a melting pot. I know my family, and including my husband and everyone, have Jewish friends and they're Palestinian, and like the topic isn't the same. And I feel like sometimes people assume this is a conflict between two types of people and that everyone feels the same about it, but that's not true. And then I think one of the biggest issues in this, again, trigger warning for anyone, standing against the genocide of Palestinian people does not mean I stand against Jewish people. That's totally different two topics. For me, I stand against the genocide of Palestinian people, which is what I believe is happening. But that doesn't make me hate or want anything bad for Jewish people at all. And this might be controversial, but it's true. I do not stand for people being annihilated. I just don't, whether it was in Palestine or Honduras or anywhere in the world or here. I don't believe that anyone should have to live with those fears or should have to live through a genocide. And I know this might be triggering for some people, but it has nothing to do with my heart for Jewish people. So that, I think, is a stereotype, and I think is a very big generalization that's causing a lot of division between people, because standing with someone does not mean I stand against somebody else. And I want to make that very clear in this video. What is the real cost of this conflict? So why does this conflict really matter to me personally? There was a moment that I had to take a break from social media. I was getting bombarded with like all these videos of what's going on in Palestine and Israel and like all these issues, and it was just overwhelming. As a mom, as a parent, seeing other parents have to mourn and bury their kids shaking in trauma from bombing. This is gonna make me a little emotional. And like watching the pain of people where I felt like I couldn't do anything about it and I had no control of how to help people or anything was pretty devastating, to the point that I took a year off of social media because I just couldn't handle thinking about someone having to write the name of the parents on the kid's skin so that if they found the body or they found the parents, they knew who each one belonged to. That was just horrific. I think that was my breaking point. I got off of social media. I had to take a break. I had pretty much a bit of a breakdown. But as a human, I just feel like the human life, it's really a high price to pay for a conflict. That's just my own opinion, but I do feel like human life is worth so much more than the conflict at hand. I think for most of us, it's really hard to put ourselves in certain shoes unless you've either seen it firsthand or been around it or, like any of that. And I understand that because I do that myself with certain issues. But just imagine yourself putting your child to bed every night and not knowing if you'll wake up next to them or if you'll be alive the next day. That's just torturing for me. At the core of everything, right? As humans, we all want to feel safe and free and to be able to live without, fears. And so I believe that that's what I'm standing for. I just want that everyone has that right. And I know that we don't have it yet. What are things that we can all agree on? Well, our humanity and all of us as human all want sort of some of the same things. And those are safety, freedom, and the chance to live without fear. And the people who don't get that also deserve that, right? And us in a place where we do get that, sometimes we forget that other people don't have this. And so it's not about burdening yourself with other people's issues, but it's more about being able to like see the individuals for where they're at and who they are, instead of just tossing it up to it's just an issue that's been going on, there's nothing I can do about it. Just being seen as someone who's been generalized before as an immigrant, right? Just being seen means a lot, and if that's all you can do, it means a lot. So why am I choosing to speak about it now? And this has been going on for a couple of years now, intensely, right? For a couple of years. And well, one, because of what I said earlier, I had gone off of social media and I went on my own like healing journey for a lot of things. And that's created space to, one, figure out what is really important to me, and two, figure out what I really care about and stand for and stuff. But also because I've had the chance to think about the consequences and everything of like speaking out or not speaking out, and the pain of knowing I did not speak for those people that I feel for was bigger than the pain of like maybe being misunderstood or the hate that can come with speaking out about this. And I truly believe that like as you get to discover yourself or get to know who you really are, or as I've peeled back layers of like trauma and everything, I went on my own journey of healing, I've realized what matters to me. And those things that matter to you and are core values of yours and stuff, if you shed light into those and you like lean into those, it'll help you like realize who you really are, right? And this is one of those things for me. I realized that I could choose between two things: either being sad because I'm misunderstood, or being sad because I didn't speak out about something I believe in. And I chose to speak out because the pain of not speaking out for my people, for the people I love, and like my friends and the things that I know are true to me, right, was greater than being misunderstood or maybe getting hate for this, right? So I definitely believe this is the biggest reason why I'm speaking out. But there's also, I've worked so hard to get to know who I am and to start knowing what matters to me and what I stand for. And sometimes it can feel uncomfortable to stand for what you believe in, but you can lose yourself in not standing up for what you really believe in. And I didn't want to lose myself because I worked so hard to find myself recently. I want to reaffirm one stance though, because I said it earlier, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows this. It isn't a political, religious conflict for me, at least. It's just about humanity and us all being human, including the people that are being affected by this. One last thing I want to make sure, that is very clear is that me standing against the genocide of Palestinian people does not mean I hate or I'm against any Jewish people. Because I'm coming from the perspective of like I care about the humanity and everything, and like people being seen where they're at, and remembering that humanity connects us all, that would just go against what I believe. So one thing I would just want to make sure that it's clear before we end this episode is that I do stand against the genocide of Palestinian people, but that does not mean I'm against Jewish people. I'm just standing for humanity. And what is going on in Palestine is not valuing the human lives that are being affected. So, like in every episode, I just want to leave you with this challenge. Whenever you hear all these like headlines and issues that like feel like, oh, there's an issue over there, or like that doesn't impact me or doesn't matter to me or whatever, just take a second and remember there's human lives that are being affected by this. And trust me, I understand we can't fix everything, because I don't want you to like overwhelm yourself with trying to take on the problems of the world. But like just starting with seeing people as people and not as the conflict is just like a a world of a difference for our own empathy and our human touch in general, right? And I just want you to remember this thought. Even in the darkest times, our shared humanity can be the bridge to change. Let's choose compassion today. Have a great day, and thank you for tuning in. Hey there, thank you so much for watching. If this episode spoke to you, or maybe you know someone that might benefit from watching this, share it or like and subscribe. If not, we also popped in some other episodes we thought you might like. Thanks for tuning in.